Hello, this is Will Starcroc, and welcome back to my Let's Play / appreciation / farewell of Dawn of War Soulstorm. I love this game and I want to do a quick appreciation of it, and this is like a quickie Let's Play. Not quickie because I will actually do the entire game, but I'm not going to spend forever on it. Let me go ahead and attack this first territory. If I win, I'm going to get a Battle Sister squad, but they're going to be an Honor Guard, so they can have a bit more hit points. Right now they're at a strength of 3. Which means they have a single base. I'm actually going to, since I have 800, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, I have 800. I'm just going to use 200 to get a convent, which functions as my barracks. That means I can produce stuff. I really don't want to spend too much more over that because I'm not going to recuperate requisition quickly, so I want to use it sparingly. And if I take over the space, I'm going to get plus 75 each turn, but plus 75 is a long way from the 800 we began. So since I'm going to accrue requisition very slowly, I don't want to spend it too brazenly at the beginning of the game. Each of these has this incredibly detailed backstory, and I just don't care to explore it, to talk about it. But I mean, people spent time on it. All right, let's begin. Now, each of these territories is basically a multiplayer map. It's kind of hard for me to arrange my fingers. I am using the left, right, up, down arrow. I could get software where I could use WSD, but I'm not sure WSD is even, I don't know if I can use that or if I can rebind those keys. Anyway, you'll notice the UI has the same sort of fleur-de-lis thing. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to produce 3 Battle Sister squads, and then I'm going to produce 2 Missionary squads. I'm going to press Control 9 so that this guy is Group 9. I'm going to tell him to build some power stations. Now there are 2 resources in this game. One of them is power, which I just built, and it accrues very slowly. You can build a power plant basically within an area of any other building.
I am come with the Emperor's creed.
And hard to talk and play the game at the same time. So this is a location-based resource, and it builds quite slowly. So that's something to keep in mind. And it's kind of like Vespene Gas and some other games where you build it, but it's just something slow, and it kind of retards your growth because it's needed for mostly higher tech. So it's a way of reducing how much higher tech you have. Now, Warcraft 3 basically forced you to be very spatially aware in the sense that you had to move around to make sure your hero got experience points to level him up. That was the way of making you move around the map. The way Dawn of War makes you move around the map is by having these points. If you look in the left in the corner, you see these blue points. These are called strategic points. I'll zoom in on one. This is a strategic point. You'll notice that Dawn of War has excellent models. These people have fleur-de-lis on their cheeks. Zoom out. Backspace zooms me out. I'm holding Alt to sort of move things around, although I have a gaming mouse that lets me do other stuff. Control 8. I'm going to assign him as Control 8. I'm going to press BL to build listening post. Each time you take over a strategic point, this one's giving me plus 6 if you look in the bottom corner. If I build a listening post on top of it, it's going to give me plus 12. That means other people can't take it, but it also means that it costs money to do that. And it means I get more requisition points per second, but it just takes more time. This thing in this corner is called a relic. Functions as a strategic point, but allows you to build certain specific buildings. Specific units called relic units, which function as in-game units. Think Krogoth from Total Annihilation, but you basically need those points. I could upgrade this, and it'll go from 12 to 18. Right? Is that 12? No, 12 to 16. So by building this, it gave me 2 times from 6 to 12. By building this on, it only gave me 4 times from 12 to 16, but the other one only gives me 18. So there are certainly diminishing returns. So you got to wonder, should I upgrade this or not? As time goes on, certainly in campaign missions, you do want to do that. But in multiplayer maps, it's very prohibitive to do that, to keep on building stuff. upgrading listening points. Right now, listening points can't shoot, but I can upgrade them to shoot. And I can fortify this position. Of course, you can see our flag. It says Fidelis, which means faithful, like a high fidelity television or high fidelity audio. Okay. I'm going to attach this missionary here. Where's my canoness? This is my hero. This is my commander. I'm going to attach her to there. Do I have... he's not attached. I'm going to attach him to this person. If you play the other Dawn of War 1 games, you'll notice these people are playing a lot like Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines. They're not clones of each other, but they play alike. They're like relatives, I would say. Not clones, but you can tell some similarities. Okay, I'm going to press Control 1. Now, if I double press 1, it zooms on them, just like if I double press 9, I can see what this servitor is doing. Press 8, I can see what this one's doing. This is enough units to probably go ahead and attack. I'm going to go ahead and claim this point. I'm facing Imperial Guard in this particular mission, so I want to get Flamers first off. There are these things called critical locations, and in multiplayer modes there's multiple victory win states. Obviously you can dominate people. Another one is hold over half of these strategic points, these critical locations I mean, for 6 minutes. Now keep in mind that you can't build anything on top of them, so you got to constantly monitor them. That's another way to win the game. Another thing I really like about Dawn of War. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and tell this guy to upgrade, and then I'm going to have him build what's known as a pristine sanctuary. It allows me to upgrade a fair amount of the infantry. These are the Imperial Guard. Okay, 9 is building that. 8, see I can double click 8 and have them just come over here. Oops. Build that. You upgrade. Now the Sisters of Battle have a resource that's unique to them called Faith. And if you look in the upper left hand corner, you'll see that it's building very slowly. Let me say this, because this is another part of why this game looks a little bit weird. You'll notice these squares in the bottom middle look kind of squished. And if you look in the upper left hand corner, these squares look kind of squished. This game was produced during the time when many people played screens that were 16 by 10. Now, almost everything these days is 16 by 9. Now, back in the old days, it was 4 by 3, and square both of those, you get 16 by 9. But there was a time when many gaming laptops, and this is a PC game, were 16 by 10. And so if you played this on a 16 by 10 screen, it would look a lot different. It would look, right, these would be squares. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, this would be a square. By the way, I can hide the UI if I want to what extent that helps. And I can zoom in, like I said. Such great units. There's my canoness, the commander unit. Backing out. Alright, I have built my pristine sanctuary. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my ranged weapon. But more specifically, I'm going to give each group a flamer and start building up the squads.
Witchcraft, heresy, and mutation.
She says witchcraft, heresy, and mutation. I can hold back these guys pretty easily. I don't need to go back and reinforce that. Since I'm facing the Imperial Guard at low levels are very susceptible to having the morale broken. If you look, you'll see a blue trigger right here. If you look in the bottom corner, bottom middle, and it's about to reach 0, bam, they are demoralized. When they are demoralized, they do significantly less damage. You don't have to retreat them, but it is true that they just do so much less damage. And so I could get more flamers, but I'm going to hold up on that for a second. By unupgraded, the Imperial Guard don't do much damage. That's why I don't like playing the Imperial Guard. If you play the Imperial Guard against, what should I say, Necrons, sometimes they just can't win at all, because even with Honor Guard, it takes a while to upgrade them. I'm going to upgrade this Ecclesiarchal Cathedral. You notice when I clicked on it, it didn't go right to that building. The UI can sometimes be a little bit buggy in this game.
Witchcraft, heresy, and mutation.
I didn't actually need that point. I went and built it. There's a temptation if you play this to, overdo what you need to do. Often in these early maps, you don't need to take every single thing ever. Okay, let me go ahead and upgrade and get this. If you look in the lower hand corner, you'll see the Act of Faith lay hands. and that uses 15 faith. That gives you an increase of 20 hit points per second. Allows you, basically it's a healing category. All right, I can pause the game, believe it or not. So let's pause, and you'll see there is the Imperial Commander. He has a priest with him. That he has it basically. He functions as a spellcasting unit that allows him to basically be immortal for a second. The Commissar increases morale, not morality, but morale. And he can actually, at later levels, shoot one of the guardsmen, which increases your morale, but of course sacrifices one of your troops. And anyway, since we are basically a good player and we know what we're doing, this won't be hard to do. And by the way, you can pause the game anytime by pressing the pause on your keyboard, which, by the way, is a leftover from back in the days when you needed to pause games. I don't need to kill them at the moment. What I am going to do is attack move. Now, like all games, attack move causes your troops to go until they're in range to attack. But since your units come into attack at different levels, it could be that there may be only 2 people in your entire squad that are able to attack. And so if you tell them to attack move, keep in mind that doesn't mean everybody's going to be shooting. What it does mean, I will take this point just to reduce how much these people are reinforcing the squad, which is why they're not dead yet. These guys are going to get morale broken, yeah. I want to take the point. While they're taking the point, by the way, that squad which is taking the point is just basically, if you look, they're sitting there praying and they're not doing any damage. And I don't care for that. I don't need that point, by the way. I completely lost my train of thought.
It is a judgment.
I'm sure it's a very good thought. Anyway, yeah, at this level, the Imperial Guard aren't all that grand, so I don't need to have that point. Oh yeah, so oftentimes the best way to make sure everybody's shooting is to just right-click and do a force move, not an attack move. Once again, that is an RTS term. I can focus on a single. I can press 1 to tell everybody to focus on this one unit, which will kill them pretty darn quickly, and that's called focus fire. The enemy will focus fire on whichever squad has least amount. So right now this middle squad has 10, and you notice the turret's attacking them. So the AI knows to attack the weakest unit. I can add a veteran superior, which is the same thing as the aspiring champion in Chaos. You see her right there, and she has a lot more hit points. She increases morale damage. She fires a type of ammo that does a bit more penetrating armor. There are multiple, I guess you could say, let me say this. 3 main types of armor: infantry, vehicles, and building, and demon, I guess that's 4. And then there's infantry, low, medium, high. Vehicle, low, medium, high. Building, low, medium, high. And demon, I think it's low and high. Wow, they broke through. That is not good. I will probably build some defenses. Anyway, I'm going to destroy them long before they destroy me, so it's not too much of a threat. As soon as you destroy the last building capable of producing units, you win the mission. Hopefully they don't attack my ecclesiarchal servant. They actually usually attack buildings before they attack anything else. I'm going to go ahead and tell these guys, well, they all have bolters. Heavy bolters, you actually got to be still for a second before you can deploy them and shoot them. I wish I could take away these flamers, but once you put on the flamer, it's kind of difficult to take off. I may lose this building. Wow. Let me say this while I'm at it. This is like an expert Let's Play, by the way. I guess that's the main thing I'd emphasize. If you're expecting the best sort of gameplay ever, this probably is not going to be your best gameplay ever. Okay. I was going to say that when you attack a squad in melee, they have to engage in melee. So basically, if you're attacking someone that has super duper weapons and you have a unit that you know is probably going to die, go ahead and send that unit that has the ability to do melee. Just have them go engage in hand-to-hand combat with that troop, and they'll no longer be able to shoot. When you give an attack move and you're in assault stance, the AI automatically decides which one's going to do more damage, rain units or melee units. But oftentimes the best thing to do isn't to necessarily do more damage, it's to prevent the other troop from doing more damage. So sometimes you can press Z and do a melee attack and say, go ahead and engage in melee damage. Alright, I've won. I've gotten this Battle Sister Priori squad. You get War Gear basically each time you do a feat. And the hardest ones are the defenses, because we're not actually going to get a lot of our stuff attacked. Usually what we'll do is we'll land on the planet, take out the stronghold, and then, mop up. But basically, whenever we actually do one of the strongholds, we'll do 2,000 kills, and we'll easily get 500 kills. The D1 kill ratio will also pretty easily get, and 1, 5, and 15 conquest won't be that difficult. But the defenses you really have to struggle to get. Right now, I do 120 melee damage. If I get every other thing, I get what's called the Emperor's Blessing, which means I glow. And when I hit people, I do 6, it does 6 damage per second. And it doesn't last for that long, but it's a damage over time. 6 damage per second is kind of dumb, seeing as though I'm doing 73 damage per second. And so that's not actually all that good. The first thing I kind of want to go ahead and get is the Sabat Pattern Helm. Actually, since I'm doing this mission in reverse order, since I've already recorded some episodes, and I'm kind of doing it retrospective, I guess, because my mic didn't work. The first thing I did last time was focus on range damage. When you play the game later on, you get Sister Repentia squads, and you can do a whole lot of melee damage. Right now, if you look, my range damage is certainly less. But I think the first thing I focused when I played this mission the first time was going to do a plasma pistol. So I'm going to select that, and that'll be alright. That'll be okay. Later on, I do want this to give me the ability to see infiltrated units. So in Dawn of War, we don't say cloaked units, we say infiltrated. And if you can see infiltrated units, you are a detector, and this lets my unit be a detector. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry that this Let's Play is in sort of like patchwork order. The trouble is, my first few episodes were without the microphone, and they were terrible. Sometimes you could hear me, other times you could hear me just fine until something happened in the game, and then it would just screw up. So anyway, plasma pistol for now. And I'm actually going to go into Commander, and I'm going to go ahead and buy that Honor Guard. I don't want to lose it, because if I lose it, I have to repurchase it. And you can tell that really reduced my requisition. And I'm going to save as, since I've already done most of the game, LPP1. Haha, I said PP. Anyway, I'm a very intelligent person. Thanks for joining me. This has been Woodhouse Dark Rock, and I appreciate you watching my Let's Play / appreciation / farewell to Dawn of War Soulstorm. Have a nice night.